It is the Geek Show, the final Geek Show here on Kiwi with Calvin. And today, looking forward to a positive future and not just relying on the news cycle as it is at the moment with all the negativity out there, Calvin.
Yeah. One of the I'm going to tell you about a few sites that I regularly look at to remind myself just how good a place the world is and how is getting, because a lot of people don't realize that the world is getting better every year in almost every way. So my favorite site for this is gapminder.org, and at Gapminder, what they're devoted to is taking statistics and giving you access to them in a really good way so that you can drag a time slider around and you can look at things like, for instance, life expectancy in years coming up from the 1800s. At about 100 years ago, everything starts taking off. The life expectancy 100 years ago in the United Kingdom was around 40 years, right?
Yeah.
And now the life expectancy in the UK is up to approximately 80.
Wow, double practically.
It's pretty much doubled. The same thing has happened in it's gone more than that in Japan. Japan is currently the highest life expectancy, an average of 83. 100 years ago, they were below the UK, and now they're significantly above. China has gone shooting up from below 35 in the 1930s to 73 now. We're up in those high figures. In 100 years, life expectancy across the world has doubled. Everywhere, that graph is going upwards.
So that's positive.
Which is really positive. We're living longer, healthier lives. But this is often reported as more people are dying of cancer, when really less people are dying of other things. Yeah,
we're just living longer to get more things.
Yeah, so, cancer is something that only really starts to hit in the 60s and 70s, in large numbers in the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Yeah.
And it's only in the past 50 years that significant numbers of people have been living that long. Another great one, and I love this, is murder per capita. Well, I don't love murder per capita, but as you look at the graph of murder per capita in places like New Zealand and the UK and the United States, you can see that the United States is far more violent than here and the UK.
Yeah.
And what's surprising, though, is that pretty much since the mid-1980s, 1970s, 1980s, across the board, it's been gently tailing off.
Oh, okay.
We appear to have hit peak violence in Western society. The UK especially, since 2000, the UK is actually much safer than New Zealand was in the 1950s.
Wow. What would they put that down to?
Civilization, I think. But the thing was, so many things didn't get reported very far back then.
True.
And now they're being reported, all over the place. You should see the plummet in infant mortality since we discovered, modern medical science. It has, across the board, in every part of the world, infant mortality is going down.
Yeah.
And it's plummeting. Has been plummeting for 100 years, is continuing to plummet. And all of this could actually equate to bad news if it wasn't for the fact that also the total fertility rate is actually going down.
Yeah, right. So, isn't that enough to balance the people living longer and more infants surviving?
Well, when people push these figures out into the future, yes, there are. It looks like we're going to top out our world population in about 30 years, and then it probably will decline from that point onwards. So all of these real-world figures point to the fact that the world's actually a safe place, a better place where we're living longer, healthier lives.
But the news tells me I need to be fearful of going out there in the big wide world.
Yes, it does. It does. Probably because you'll buy more when you're scared.
Right, true.
So, a few other ones. There's a really good site just to back that up. Nationmaster.com is just another good site for pulling statistics from, so you can have a look at any countries across the world and look at how their stats compare on absolutely anything from crime to medicine to terrorism to economies, everything. So I'll quickly now plow into the sort of sites that I've been looking at over the past few years that have filled me with such positive stories. Nextbigfuture.com. Okay. It's just a blog site, but they keep a constant track of all the really important news that relates to science, technology, and the future of science, technology, and society, and how things are going to change. So that's a good one. The typical story from there at the moment is, I don't know if you noticed this, but NVIDIA, the graphics card maker, have forecast that by 2014, which isn't very far away, the graphics power in a typical mobile device will be the same as an Xbox 360.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not far away. Crikey.
And because they bring mobiles out every, year,
yeah.
I think that we have seen the last of the great consoles.
Yeah, well,
I don't think there will be a serious replacement. I think the next replacement consoles are actually going to have a bit of a fail long term. They're not going to have the big long-term success that the other consoles did.
We were just talking about that before, that the Xbox conference this morning at E3, there was no announcement about a new console. So at least for the next year, it's status quo.
Yeah, well, the Kinect was really designed to give the Xbox a lot of next-gen functionality without having to boost the physical capabilities of it.
Okay.
So the next one is phys.org, Phys, as in the first four letters of physics, and .org. It's quite a serious site, and it's not the best design, but it is filled with every bit of science news, right up to the minute. It's accurate, it's all sourced from universities, and a few hours spent reading through on phys.org and connecting a few dots between some of the stories that you will read, and you'll realize that every problem that gets raised by all the people who think that the world is going to hell in a handbasket, there are answers all just waiting on phys.org to almost everything.
Yeah. What's the top story there at the moment?
Top story at phys.org? Brain scans proved Freud right. Guilt plays a key role in depression.
Okay. All right.
So a few other little things. First of all, SpaceX.com. I have to make the point. Dragon made their, they launched on the Falcon 9. They launched the Dragon capsule, which made it successfully to the space station and back again to deliver a cargo.
Yeah.
This is a private company with 2,000 employees doing something that NASA and the U.S. government currently can't, and that's deliver cargo to the space station in orbit. We've hit a completely new era now, geeks in space.
Yeah, well, I saw a news story in the weekend. There's an entrepreneur who wants to set up a Mars base in about 16 years. Yep.
Although I've heard quite a lot of people be very cynical about his plans.
Yeah.
But if people are willing to take risks, the same risks that people took 200 years ago when they took boats to the New World, or when they sailed here and spent their 6 months in a leaky boat.
Yeah.
If people are willing to take the same risks with their lives and their futures with space travel as they did 100 years ago, we could get there very easily and very cheaply. It's just people now are a lot more cognizant of risk, and because we'd report on every single death like it was some sort of disaster for the space race.
Yeah.
We have to take it. We have to do it more expensively, much slower. We're putting a much higher value on human life, which is probably a good thing in many ways. But just to show the difference between how we how we approached conquering the new world, as it were, to how we approach conquering space.
Definitely different. And finally, you got another one for us.
I've got another couple, and I'll just run through them very quickly. PP3DP.com are announcing the new Up personal portable 3D printer, which is going to come in at under $1,000.
Wow! So that's really going to bring it to consumers.
$1,500.
Yeah,
but soon a sub $1,000. Of course, everyone should go and spend some time at TED.com.
Yeah.
And listen to some of their ideas, some of their 20-minute lectures, which will blow your mind. And my final one of my favorite sites for thinking about just how cool the future's going to be, is the 3D printing supply site Shapeways.com, where you upload your designs and they send you a printed object in almost any material you ask for.
That's so cool.
That's manufacturing in the future, and it's about everything that the future is good at. It's peer-to-peer. It's getting away from the idea that one person or one manufacturer can tell us all what to buy. We buy things off each other. We entertain each other. We teach each other. That's the future for me.
Indeed, and what a positive way to finish the Geek Show, and to go out on and from behalf of everyone at Kiwi, really appreciate your and Ms. Behaviour's contributions to Kiwi FM and the Radio Wammo show, and may the Geek Show live on online.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. We've had a fantastic time here on Kiwi, and thanks for the opportunity. Oh, I think Miss B's just coming to say a final goodbye.
Yeah, thanks, Wammo. It's been awesome.
Nice one. Thanks, Ms. B. Thanks, Calvin. We'll see you.
Cheers.
See you online.
Bye.
And the website, of course, is thegeekshow.com. 2 3s rather than 2 E's.